We say good morning to you. Welcome. We are broadcasting live. We're on the road today. We're at Chick-fil-A in Johnson City on this Wednesday, April the 8th, 2026. Want to start the show by thanking Dr. Eric Carter from Lingerfield Drug Center. Went to him and said, anyway, Doc helped me. Took care of it, and we're on our way back on the mend. So thank you, Dr. Carter. He is awesome. He'll help you anytime, any way he can, and he does me. And, of course, he's one of my sponsors, granted, but still, he'll help anybody and does. And so thank you to Dr. Carter. He gave me some over-the-counter goodies, and we're not totally there yet, but we're about 95%, and that's a whole lot better than it was. So thanks again to Dr. Carter from Lingerfield Drug Center. That's where he'll administer shots out in the alleyway on the drive-through. He's talked about that where you just roll up your sleeve. He'll go out and talk to you. He'll go back in, and if you can't get out of your car, and some can't, he'll bring it to you. So the guy's incredible. So thank you again, Dr. Carter, for helping us out and getting us back on the mend. Like I said, I'm still not there 100%, but it's a whole lot better than it was, I can tell you that. All right, so let's get going. We got lots to talk about. So what's going on in Rocky Top? That's going to be Andrew Smith will be here in a few minutes. Sports writer, Johnson City Press. I'll wait and ask him. Let him tell us. He covers UT for the Johnson City Press. So I know it's money, but I don't get it. You know, you can talk all you want to about Kim Caldwell. Rick Barnes has lost, 7 or 8 guys himself. All the team went to the Elite Eight. Why would they be leaving? So yes, it's going to be for more money, I guess. But still, I'm going to guess, purely guess on my part, sitting here in Johnson City, that they're pampered and taking care of the players, the men's basketball team at UT, like all schools, not just singling out UT. But when you lose 7 or 8 guys to the portal on a team that went to the Elite Eight, I mean, what's up? What's up with that, as they say? You know, the Lady Vols, she's already picked up a recruit, or signee, young lady's transferring over from Liberty, Avery Mills. So the Lady Vols are starting to rebuild their team. Transfer portal, here's the rule in the portal, by the way. You have until April the 20th to go into the portal. You don't have to pick your team till then or decide on your team. But you have until the 20th, which is, 12 more days to go into the portal. And then where you end up, what team you end up, remains to be seen. So you don't have to make that decision by the 20th, but you have to make the decision you're going to be in the portal by the 20th. So there you be. And so been a mass exodus in Knoxville. The women, I don't totally get that one either, but I don't get anything about the guys' team leaving. And I know you're going to tell me it's all about money, and it is to a point, but, you know, President Trump, this is going to be my lead story. He came down with an executive order on Friday, and he's got some things in motion to fix college athletics. So you can say what you want to about Donald Trump. It's not a political show, but I'll say this: when he says he's going to do something, he goes and does it. Now, not all of them have done that. In fact, a lot of them have not done that in the past. But he says we're going to take the bull by the horns and we're going to fix college athletics, and that's what he's in the process of doing. The executive order here will be the lead story of things he changed on Friday. Big thanks yesterday to the Elizabeth and Kiwanis clubs where we were speaking yesterday. I had a great time. Hope they did. Talking about my days of being the track announcer at Bristol Motor Speedway, because it is, of course, race week. So we had a good time over there yesterday, and again, thanks to Nicole asking me to come speak, and appreciate that very much. And it was a good time. Had a really, really good time, and I appreciate that very much. How about TR Dunn with the national anthem on the Tom Taylor Sports Show?
You see, by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the
And back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show again. Thanks to Dr. Carter. Ain't there yet, but we're on our way. That's all I can say. And I tell you what, I was embarrassed by Sunday at the cantata. Oh boy, that was bad. I've already apologized to our choir director. I said that was unacceptable. My voice went out, couldn't do anything about it. I did the best I could to get it ready for that cantata, and it just didn't work. And so it was made me mad in a wet hen. So, but it is what it is. Can't fix it. It's behind us, but it was not, unacceptable. But I couldn't fix it. I did the best I could. President Trump, again, not a political show. Don't pretend to be, but the guy does what he says he's going to do and gets done what he says he's going to get done. So he steps in and signed an executive order for college athletics. Had a meeting with him last month in March with a bunch of guys sitting around a round table trying to figure out how to fix college sports. Here's the executive order. Coming down off the mountain on, I guess, Friday, or I guess it was Friday or Saturday. It says, this is from President Trump. The order says universities should provide the ability to transfer one time during a 5-year eligibility. You get one time. 5 years for 4. You get one time. Immediate playing eligibility, then one additional such time as a student athlete attains a 4-year degree. I just played your national anthem. Yeah. I'm doing good. Look at him. He's prettier in person than that little business card. He's a honeydew, chick magnet. There you go. I love that guy. He can sing, as you heard him sing. So anyway, President Trump says should provide for the ability to transfer one time during a 5-year eligibility period with immediate playing eligibility and one additional such time as a student athlete obtains a 4-year degree. So you get one shot and five to go to 4. 5 years to get in 4. I'm perfect with that. The rule was previously deemed illegal in court. Under the revised transfer rules, athletes will be allowed to transfer once without penalty, but a second transfer would trigger an automatic redshirt season. Perfect. I'm with it. Thank you, President Trump. So I'll transfer once. Okay, transfer twice. I got to sit out and get it. I'm going to be a redshirt. Automatic redshirt. Got it. Trump's order includes a provision to review federal government grants and contracts for schools and potentially cut funding if they fail to comply with the NCAA rules. So the schools that are doing their own thing, and some of them are, then they're going to come under the scrutiny of the NCAA/federal government, could have their funding cut. So he's going to tighten this thing down. Thanks to the recent influx of student athletes challenging NCAA eligibility norms in court, Trump's order includes a 5-year plan. 5 to get in 4. All right. What else? Speaker Mike Johnson from Louisiana believes passing the SCORE Act is a necessity in the fight against current NIL issues, would help establish federal standards and payments to players and regulations for agents representing college athletics. It's a lot of mumbo-jumbo. Bottom line is they're going to try and make the normal, they're going to put everybody on the same, everybody gets the same pot of money. Hello, Jane. No, that's a new name. Thank you, lady, for watching. So under Trump's executive order for college athletics, everybody's going to be in the same pot or having the same pot. I get it. They have not decided what that's going to be yet. But let's say they all get $20 million. You're going to be astounded when I read these figures here in a minute. I could not believe what I read. So everybody gets $20 million. If you go get Tom Taylor and spend $8 million on him, you're down to 12. If you go get Danny Birchfield coming by, if we sign him up for another 12 or another 10, you're down to $2 million. And once you're done, you're done. It's that simple. So everybody's going to have the same pot if this goes through for Trump. And he signed the orders. I don't know why I wouldn't. If we don't, Ted Cruz said, if we don't act, we're very quickly going to be in a world of 30 to 50 college football teams that are basically a mini NFL. He's spot on. And the rest of the school is going to be left out. And he is spot on, no question. All right. While some coaches have dispelled reports of $40 million rosters in college football, $40 million. These guys don't go to class, not all of them. They don't go to class. They don't care. They come to practice to play football, and that's it. Under the auspices of being a college athlete. So, listen to this number. Ohio State, 2024, before winning the national championship, 2024, athletic director Ross Bjork said the program spent $20 million, which we knew, on elite-level roster. Other top-spending programs the same season paid upwards of $30 million for talent. Now, you explain to me, because I'm a dumb old country boy from West Virginia, you explain to me how in the name of the good Lord can these schools continue to do this and operate? They're tapping the boosters to give more money for the NIL. Okay? So we put more money in the kitty for the athletes who don't care. They're going to go right here where the money is. You don't think so? Why are 7 guys leaving the Elite 8 program at Tennessee men's basketball team? They had a pretty good run and a great coach. So say all you want about the Lady Vols. You got the men's team. Just came off the Elite 8. Got 7 went out the door. The latest is Jalen Carey. So you've got $40 million rosters out here in college athletics. You've got – it just blows my mind. So you talking about pampered and spoiled? That I'm making enough money? Look, I get it. I don't fault the kids. I fault the schools. University needs to sit down and go, look, we're still a school of higher education. There is still majors and grade point averages. Those still should be coming into play. You never hear anything about those. It's all about show me the money. I blame the schools for that. They need to sit down and get a unified front and say, we're not doing this anymore. And I think that's where Trump's trying to take this. All right. Now, a report just this week. LSU, Lane Kiffin. LSU made a $40 million investment in Lane Kiffin's first-year roster. So if you're a school, I'm just going to pull some out of the hat for no rhyme or reason. If you're Missouri, if you are Virginia Tech, if you are Boston University, if you are, I don't know, pick somebody. Northwestern out of the Big Ten. These are not football schools per se. I don't think Virginia Tech will be because of Franklin, but right now they're not. So LSU puts $40 million in the kitty to go out and get football talent. Well, how do you battle that if you're another school that does not have the financial resources to put $40 million in the kitty? It was initially allocated to be a $25 to $30 million range. So one SEC coach who remains anonymous, didn't want to tell who he was, says the 2027 baseline to be around $45 million. Those expect to be in the conference championship or college football playoff discussion. Check this number out. I'm talking about the executive order President Trump signed on Friday, trying to shore up college athletics. I appreciate it. I don't think he's got it all nailed down yet, but at least he's on his way. At least somebody's doing something. If not, we're going to lose college athletics as it was. We may already have, but we're in the process of losing the whole kit and caboodle. If they don't turn the screws down and say, guys, you can't, this is not, you still got to go to college to get a degree. What happens with these guys, and it happens all the time, not everybody, but a lot of guys, I mean, you get a big wad of money handed to you, and you can't handle the money. 18, 19-year-old kid getting thrown millions of dollars at him. Well, what are you going to do? What would I have done at 18, 19? I'd have blown every penny of it, probably. Well, my father wouldn't let me, but I went on a pretty good shopping spree. All right, so you run through your money, your football, basketball career is over. Then what do you got? You didn't go to college to get a degree. You don't have a degree. All you did was show up to play sports, play ball. And so now you don't have a degree, and so you got to go out and try to make a living with no degree. Well, that's not going to happen. Well, sure it's going to happen. If they don't have a degree, you can't play ball forever. And so, all right, 30% of the group of 6 players, 2026 data out of the transfer portal, call it 30% of the group of 6 players who earned first or second team all-conference honors last season stayed with the team they played for. Only 30%. You line up 10 guys made all-conference, first or second team all-conference in their sport last year, only 3 of them are staying in the school they're at. So here's my question. Old Tom's will drive to Knoxville or anywhere on a Saturday and plunk down big bucks to go watch a bunch of guys that aren't going to be there, could not even be there next year. Certainly don't care about me. It's all about them, and that's because that's how the system set it up. Again, I blame the colleges on this. You're 18, 19-year-old kid, and they're going to throw $5 or $6 million at you? Hello? Put it right here. Let me give you my direct deposit account number. It makes I get it from the kid's standpoint. So somebody above the kids, in this case, I think the schools need to turn the screws down and say no. As Trump made this executive order go into effect on Friday, you have 5 years to make 4. First transfer, you're okay. Second transfer, you got a red shirt, sit out a year. I get it. I'm all about that. NIL money, we're going to make everybody have the same pot. It's not even worth saying, but I'm going to say it. You can't. I got $100 and that guy down the street's got $1,000. Well, I can't compete with that. You got schools with $40 million to go pay guys to play football, and the guy down the street, XYZ school's got $25 million. There's no way he can compete. Hello? It's a no-brainer. It's just common sense. Anyway, Trump's signed this executive order on Friday to get all this on roll. I'll get Andrew Smith's take on it. He's going to be here in a second. Also, the Tennessee team, Jalen Carey gone. Cade Phillips gone. Clarence Masamba gone. J.P. Estrella gone. Bishop Boswell gone. Off a team that went to the Elite Eight. Where's the loyalty? And yet the schools want us to plunk down big bucks to go watch these guys play, and you can't even really develop a fan appreciation for the guys who know they're going to be there next year. Well, I just read the stat. 30% of the first team and second team all-conference players last year not even the same school. So this is a sports show. This is what I do for a living. I don't get it. I think it's way out of kilter, and I blame totally, 100%, the folks, NCAA and the colleges, college presidents, college whomever, to sit down and say, no, enough's enough. All right, why would you be a coach in all this? You got him today. Kurt's watching the show, my buddy Kurt, the Japster. Kurt's a hot rod athlete. I pamper him. I love on him. I buy him whatever he needs, put him on the portal, give him a lot of money. And then these coaches say if you get on them or say anything to them or hurt their feelings, we'll take our toys and go somewhere else, and they're letting them do it. So there's no loyalty, none, to the loyalty of any of these universities. How can you tell me every woman on the Lady Vol basketball team walked away from that program? It can't be all Kim Caldwell. I don't care. I'm sure she has her flaws, and she's messed up, and I get that. But you cannot tell me every girl on that team left because of Kim Caldwell. I refuse to believe. I will never believe that because they're selfish and they're greedy, and not just the Lady Vols, college athletes in general. And we made them that way. They're a product of the environment. So anyway, Tennessee is losing some guys. Of course, Gillespie and Abram and Evans and Berg are all gone because of graduation. Also, looks like they may lose Ament after one season. So, but again, these guys are the toast of the town down there. And I'm not just picking on UT, but that's the closest big-time program, obviously, to where we're sitting. He's added Ralph Scott, Manny Green, and Marquise Clark so far to the roster, and then the kid from Belmont, Tyler Lundblade. So it's next man up. It's like, okay, these guys leave. You got to have jerseys, you got to have bodies and uniforms ready to go. So we'll let him see what Andrew says when he gets here in a few minutes. We're live here again at Chick-fil-A in Johnson City on People Street on this Wednesday, April the 8th. And so, again, a big thanks. I'm going to thank him the whole show. Dr. Ed Carter, Lingerfield Drug Center, downtown Elizabethton. Went to him and on Monday. Couldn't get to him over the weekend. They were closed for the weekend, for the holiday, and I get that. But I got to him. I probably would have not salvaged the narration on Sunday. That was really pitiful. But my voice was like cross between Forrest Gump and I don't know who it was. Pee Wee Herman, maybe. It was bad. Oh, I was embarrassed. But anyway, I went to Dr. Carter on Monday and got it fixed. So there you go. And I appreciate him very much. Quick break. We'll be right back. We're here again at Chick-fil-A in Johnson City on this Wednesday. As we said, April the 8th, an absolute gorgeous day outside. A little cool. We're coming out of dogwood winter. We got one more in early May, 8th, somewhere between the 8th and the 10th, thereabouts, 7th, 8th, and 10th. You'll have a couple of cool days on blackberry winter because the blackberries will be blooming out, blackberry bushes or plants. All right, he's here. He's fixing to go to work. Yep, we'll see what he says about all this going on. We'll take. I preached and pontificated here for a few minutes, but I'm right. It's just inconceivable. So again, before I go to the break, so I started my thought and stopped. So you want me to put down big bucks to go down and watch these guys play at UT or Georgia or Alabama, wherever, and they don't give two hoots? You know, look, whether they win or lose, it still goes direct deposit into their account. Remember that. It's not based on wins and losses like a coach. Coach doesn't win. Coach doesn't get it done. He's gone. These guys get paid regardless, and ladies. The money goes into the direct deposit whether they win or whether they lose, and that's wrong. So if you're working on a job and you can't get it done, you do a lousy job, you're not going to keep getting paid. At least not the ones I worked at down through the years. But these guys and girls get paid regardless. All right, then you run into another one. If you pay these guys and girls long term, write them a one check or a couple of big checks. This kid left, was it Georgia? Left at Christmas. And so now Georgia wants their money back. So, okay, we paid you for the whole year. You didn't stay the whole year. We want your money back. Guy said, see ya. Call my attorney. I ain't doing it. Wrong, wrong, wrong. All right, quick break. Back after this. Tell us why. A lot of real estate companies out there. Why David Collins and Collins and Company?
Well, we service before and after the sale. I think that's a big thing. And follow through on phone calls. I think, and I have a lot of people just comment on how professional our website is, how professional our agents are, and what we do, and how we follow through with things. For instance, I'm not telling the name of a real estate company or anything like that. That's had a buyer that bought one of our houses through another agency, and she just called me. She said, my agent didn't show up at closing, didn't bring me any keys. We didn't do a final walkthrough. That's pretty sad. And, you know, I just want to let folks know, you come here, you're going to get service, you know, follow through. We're going to work through with you, follow you through the process, help you through the process. You don't have a lender. We've got lenders we recommend, attorneys for closing we recommend, and you get full service here.
End of story. Full service. Phone number to call?
423-543-5741.
A 97% closing ratio, folks. Collins and Company, great sponsor of the Tom Douglas Sports Show and Elizabeth and Cyclone Sports. Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, he's here, guest number one in the house. Andrew Smith, good morning. Oh, they're winning. He's got his hat on. There you go. I'm learning the boy. When the Braves are doing good, he's sporting that hat. Hello, Lynette Peters. How you doing, lady? Regina Presnell, hello to you. Let's see what's Junior say. All of us can do is what we can do with what we have at the present time. You did a very good job, my friend. You're very kind. I sound like between Pee Wee Herman and Forrest Gump on the narration Sunday because, but anyway, no sense going on about that. It's Sunday. It's over. So, all right. I watched the highlights last night. Lopez and Jorge Soler they're getting after it.
They were. It was strange because it all started because Reynaldo Lopez threw up and in to Jorge Soler.
Yep.
It appeared to me as if it was a missed spot. Jonah Heim didn't necessarily set up and in, so that did not appear intentional at all. But Soler took offense to it. The two started jawing, and then the next thing you know,
it's on.
The fisticuffs are coming out. Saw Mike Trout get a hold of Reynaldo Lopez, calm him down. Walt Weiss turned into Bill Goldberg with a spear for a minute there on Jorge Soler. But ultimately cooler heads prevailed. Both guys got tossed. But
Which they should have.
which they should have. It was
Yeah.
completely justified to toss both guys. But always the funniest thing in bench clearing brawls, you see the dugout or the bullpen
Running.
run in. They never get there in time.
No, it's over.
Everything's all settled by the
That's
time
it.
the bullpen gets
I
there.
thought the same thing.
So, good thing the reinforcements weren't needed because they were pretty late getting there.
They run the whole field from out of the bullpen wanting to get in the fight. It's over when they get
and
there.
once again, another very hilarious part of this whole ordeal was obviously Reynaldo Lopez gets ejected. So somebody from that bullpen, ended up having to be Tyler Kinley, sprinted out there to be a part of the brawl, had to go all the way back to the bullpen, get his stuff, and then come back down and warm up because nobody was warming at the time Lopez got tossed because he was pitching pretty well. There's no need to have pulled him otherwise.
Yeah.
That was that was certainly one of the ordeals of our time.
Now, Lopez won't pitch tonight, but Solar could play for the Angels. Will this boil over? Is it over? You think it'll?
I think it's over. I think it's over.
All right.
There's no prior history of bad blood between the Braves. Heck, there's a handful of former Braves on the Angels between Soler, World Series hero, Travis d'Arnaud, the manager, Kurt Suzuki, a former Brave. Like, there's just a lot of guys in that org that have Brave size, so I just don't foresee it being much of an issue outside of that little brouhaha between Lopez and Soler last night.
Hello, JoJo Smith. Thanks for watching the show. We are again live at Chick-fil-A in Johnson City on People Street on this Wednesday. We're talking to the obvious. You see on the screen, Andrew Smith, Sports Writer, Johnson City Press, Kingsport Times News. All right, so we've settled that one. The Braves, are you okay where they are right now? You pleased with what they're doing?
Yeah, I mean, last night's win, they did a little 3-game losing streak. Austin Riley had a good night last night. Good to see. He's had a tough start to the year. Drake Baldwin's been fantastic. Ronald Acuna, like, see him get going a little bit more, but I'm liking some of the at-bats I'm seeing. I feel like he's close. Ultimately not too bad. It'll be Grant Holmes going this afternoon.
That's what I was looking up as you were talking.
4 o'clock start there out in Anaheim. And tomorrow, the first off day of the year for the Braves. They had to play 13 games in 13 days. That ends after today's game. They're above 500 in a much better spot than last year. You can't win the division in April, but you can, you can see with the Braves last year, you can certainly lose it with a rough start. So, being able to keep your head above water is ultimately what you're looking to do right here. Ultimately, been very impressed with the pitching, especially given all the injuries in spring training. But it's been very solid.
Stand right there let him stand up on that chair
Yes,
right
sir.
there. This is a cool kid. Tell everybody what your name is, sir.
My name's Jace.
Jace. Now, Jace, I don't know if you can see, Jace took a spill with a rock. What happened? Tell me the story about Jace got him a pump knot. Tell me about that, would you please?
I fell down and my head hit a rock.
Fell,
So it made a big spot on me.
made a spot on you. Fell down, you hit a rock. Were you riding your bike? What was you doing?
And I was
Just-
playing.
He's a boy. I love it. Outside playing, crashed and burned, bust his head, hit a rock, put a little pump knot up there. So he came in with his mama. Got him. How was the ice cream? Was it good?
Good.
All right. Put it right here. I'm glad you're my buddy. You have a good day. Don't fall going down. My little buddy Jace crashed and burned with a rock. I love it. I remember those days. I told his mama, I put one on my little brother right there with remember those little yellow wiffle ball bats? Those
Yeah.
little skinny ones?
Yeah.
Oh, I thrashed him. I got him down and beat the tar out of him because he spit on me, and I said, oh, no, we ain't doing that. So when I saw him walk through, I thought, boy, there's a flashback to my little brother getting hammered with a wiffle ball bat. Back in the day, the Taylor boys playing wiffle ball in West Virginia. All right. So the Braves are okay with him. Who's swinging the stick right now pretty good for him?
Drake Baldwin.
Okay.
Drake Baldwin has been fantastic. He is toward the top of the league in homers, RBIs. He's been, ever since he came up last year, he has been remarkable. To be as young as he is and have the approach he does hitting, it's special. It's the reason he won Rookie of the Year last year.
All right, we're going to switch gears. I was on soapbox before you got in here. All right, college athletics. Let's start down in Knoxville. And I'm not picking on Knoxville, but it's the closest big school. And, of course, you cover the Vols for the paper. So they've now lost. And we know all about the Lady Vols. Okay. But now you got Jalen Carey, Cade Phillips, J.P. Estrella, Bishop Boswell, Clarence Masamba.
Masamba, yep.
Masamba. The guys are all gone. They're leaving. The team went to the Elite Eight. Explain that to me, sir, because I don't get that.
Yeah, so this is not necessarily reporting, it's a little bit more on the speculation side, but some of the exit meetings, guys maybe wanting a little bit more than Rick Barnes is willing to pay them. All right, I'll hit the portal and go get my bag elsewhere.
Now stop right there. You're going to get my blood boiling. So in their exit meetings, they're telling the coach, I ain't getting paid enough. These are college athletes. So it's not about playing time, necessarily. It's not about anything other than the scratch, as we call it. All right, continue on.
And that won't even necessarily say it's the case for every guy. I know Cade Phillips was injured. He might be looking for a different spot to, get some more playing time. Okay, I get that one. Clarence Masamba, you mentioned him. He's in the portal. He didn't play. He barely played. So for him, it definitely can feel more like a playing time thing. But other guys, it can maybe come down to the dollars and cents of it all. I'm intrigued to see how this will all shake out, both for those guys and where they end up, but also who Tennessee will bring in. They already do have one portal signee, kid out of Belmont, one of the best shooters in the country.
Right.
They got him last week. So, if there's anybody you can trust to kind of handle this, has proven himself to be able to handle a lot of the roster churn, it's Rick Barnes.
Well, sure.
So, I don't think there's necessarily a ton of concern about all of that, but it is definitely noteworthy to see. I think one of the only guys you've got set to return right now is Dwayne Brown, freshman post player. Everybody else out, Felix Okpara, Jacoby Gillespie out of eligibility, all those guys you mentioned in the portal. Still unsure of Nate Ament. I feel like Ament will probably hit the draft. He's projected around a top 10 pick, so it would feel silly for me if I was in his shoes to come back. But hey, stranger things have happened, and I don't think Nate Ament will be hurt by another year of college development before going to the NBA.
So is the money that different? All right, I got Amen sitting in Knoxville. He's getting paid big bucks. He should be. I'm sure he is. That's how they got him. So is it – I guess my question is, if he foregoes Tennessee's eligibility and goes to the NBA, is it more money? I mean, is there a bigger pot in the NBA for him than at Tennessee? Because
I would believe. I think there is.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know what the number. I'm not pocket watching anybody. I don't know how much Nate Ament was making at Tennessee, but it's the NBA. You're going to be making a lot of money. Plus, it's every kid's dream to go play in the league, and he is almost assured that opportunity if he goes right now. So I can't blame him. He's earned the right to do that. He's once again one of the top prospects in this class. Projected lottery pick. So. I can't blame him if he goes. So, monetarily, I think there is a little bit more in the NBA right now, but yeah.
Mike Hines says, hello, Tom and Andrew. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you, Mike, for watching the show. So, I'm doing well. You doing well?
Yeah, doing well. Appreciate you, Mike.
Dr. Carter cured me over the weekend. Got me some Lingerfield Drug Center help for my voice, and I guess it was allergies. I don't know, but so I'm a lot better now, thanks to the Lord and thanks to Dr. Eric Carter. So, all right. Do you have any idea, of course, you cover the Vols for the Johnson City Press. Is there numbers ever been batted around on what kind of money is in the pool that Rick Barnes is tapping into for the basketball team?
Nothing I've heard.
You want to speculate?
I'm not even in a good enough position to really speculate, if I'm being honest. I'm confident that it's in a good spot. I don't know what the actual number is. But knowing Rick Barnes, knowing that I am confident Danny White is willing to allocate a lot of funds for basketball, given what they've done the last 3 straight Elite Eights, right? Given that you've given Rick Barnes effectively a lifetime contract for however long he wants to be there, he's welcome to be there. I think given those resources already given, and you've seen what Rick Barnes has done with them, I think that you're willing to give him as much as he wants. Now, It's obviously up to Rick Barnes to decide how he wants to allocate that amongst his team. But yeah, I do think that they are going to be in the competitive realm of NIL allocation in there.
So you look at we talked about this earlier. There's Coach Shipley. I'd love to get him on the show one time. Former coach at Dobbins Minute. Love that guy. So I would love to get it from a coaching perspective. I wouldn't want to be a college coach today. I don't care what they pay me. I mean, it's just a constant turnover. We'll talk about that in a second, too. So LSU gives Lane Kiffin this week $40 million put in his football program for the NIL. How can I'm going to pull – I did this earlier before you got here. All right, I'm going to pull – give me a team out of the Big Ten that's on the lower scale.
I would say probably Northwestern, I would guess.
That is scary, is what I said earlier in the show. Northwestern, Boston College. And we'll throw another one out. Let's go out on the west, find somebody out there. Pick me a school out somewhere out Idaho, the Idaho Vandals. They're a D1 school. How can any of these schools compete with LSU $40 million? Texas A&M's even more in Texas. And you got these guys trying to bang their heads against the wall, trying to survive and be winners with the pressure from the fan base and the boosters on the coach with less money in the till. It's like me with $250 and he's got $2,500 to work with. I mean, how do you do it? You can't do it. So President Trump comes out Friday, executive order. One of the things he wants to do is give everybody everybody gets the same pot. Whether it's $40 million, $30 million, everybody has the same amount of money to draw out of, and that's it. So the rich can't get richer, and it kind of neutralizes. What do you think?
I think that's fair to want. Obviously something has to be done. This is unsustainable. Between roster churn and the haves and have-nots and the constant flow of money, what we have right now is unsustainable in college athletics. It just is. So there absolutely has to be something done about it. You start to get in some kind of tricky situations between like employees and things like that when you try and institute like a salary cap, and because that's effectively what the executive order, what President Trump is trying to get done, would do. It would be a salary cap amongst this, and it's hard to do that if these guys aren't, there's not an association or there's not, employees. There's a lot of tricky nuance in this, but I think there has to be something done, obviously, and I think that's a fair way to try and get something done. If you're President Trump, if you're trying to get this done, so a lot to work out between trying to iron that out to make that potentially happen. But I do think that is a fair way to try and go about it, at least. It's better idea than what I had, because I had nothing. So
Trump also came out with an executive order and said 5 years to play for. You get 5 to play for. You get one transfer. The second transfer is an automatic redshirt. You got to sit out. I'm all about this. As I said earlier in the show, it's not a political show, but Donald Trump said we're going to get in and fix this, and he's in the nobody else is doing it. He set them all down last month, had his big consortium at the White House to talk this over. And so now he's put teeth in what he's talking about, so he's getting it done. At least, as Andrew said, he's right. At least we're moving in the right direction to create guardrails and have some kind of rules and regs about what's going on. So 5 to 4, 5 years you get 5 years to complete 4 with one transfer. Second one's an automatic redshirt. You got to sit out. I'm all about that. Then he's talking about putting everybody in the same pot, having the same amount of money to pull from. So I'm for that too, because it levels the playing field. So because I just went through the analogy of the 250 and 2,500. So there's no way these schools can compete. And then, so what was the other thing you also mandated? He talked about let's see, have it right here. Talked about the eligibility. So the loyalty of these guys. Check this out. 2026 transfer portal cycle. Only 30% of the group of 6 players who either got first or second team all-conference are still at the same team they played for in 2025. So you line up 10 guys, the Power 6 teams, either got first or second team all-conference. Out of the 10 guys, 3 are gone. They've already left to go to another school. So
between your App States and your Marshalls and your all of these G6s. Yeah, on it feels there was a clip I saw from funnily enough Luke Combs, a country music singer, whatever, an Appalachian State alum, and he was asked about, hey, do you give to their NIL collective? And he's like, no, because I'm always, they're gonna keep asking me for more and more.
Yep.
And I can't guarantee these guys are gonna be around for more than 1 year. It's
There's
like
my point.
if they can, lock in these guys for 2-year deals or whatever, then I'd be more willing to do it. But yeah, so it once again kind of speaks what we kind of keep talking about, the churn of rosters and the usage of NIL funds here, especially at that level, right? It's ridiculous. If a dude goes out and plays well, 7 out of 10 times he's going to try and move up to the Power 4 level, your SECs, your Big Tens, ACCs, what have you. So yeah, it's a horrible spot for those schools to be in, because obviously they're trying to bring in guys from maybe FCS or D2. It's like, hey, you can prove yourself up here, and once they do prove themselves, if you do your job as a coach, guess what? They're going to keep moving on up in the world. So it's certainly a tough thing. Something I've seen proposed is something akin to a European soccer model, or most soccer models, where let's say I am Tennessee and I want to go get Marshall's starting corner out of the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I go do that, I also pay Marshall a fee for the corner, because they're the ones that help develop them. It's similar to you'll see in
Interesting.
in soccer that if somebody that plays for Nashville SC, for example, gets signed to go play for Manchester United in the Premier League, the Man U would pay a fee to Nashville SC alone, is what they call it, for the player. So I think something like that would be an interesting thing to try and implement as well at the college football level as well.
They got to do something, and so at least they're moving in the right direction to take care of it in the college athletics. Otherwise, we're going to lose it. I'm not sure. We may have already lost it. I don't know, but we're in the process of losing the whole kit and caboodle if we don't put some guardrails and some regulation to these guys. And again, as I said earlier in the show, I don't blame the kids. I blame the presidents and the universities. When you allow these guys to not even go to class, some do, most don't. And, why would they? And as I said earlier, direct deposit, whether they win everything or lose everything, the coaches are it's a performance-based business. If they don't perform, they're gone. Players get paid regardless. Those lady balls, all of them that left, guarantee they got paid. So they jumped ship on her. And so right, wrong, or indifferent is what they did. And so now she's got one recruit back in. Avery Mills out of Liberty University she is signed. So she's coming in, averaging 16 points a game, transfer from Liberty. But there again, your point's well taken. Mid-major Liberty, go down, pluck them, pull them up, give them more money, and let them go. So now Liberty's going to go find somebody to replace Avery Mills, and it's the law of the jungle. So the sad part about all this, and you and I work with this every day on the high school level, the high school kids ain't got a chance. I mean, the coaches will tell you this, the big-time coaches, unless you're some whip-snapping dude or lady in sports, they're going to go get a transfer portal. They're going to hit that portal. They've already got guys and ladies already playing. They understand the college experience. They're more mature, blah, 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 blah. And so the high school kids, unless you're a whiz-bang, they're not even going to look at you. So you're already looking at and there's nothing wrong with the Milligans and the Carson Newmans and the Kings and the Maryville universities and so on and so forth, or even one notch up, the App States and Marshalls. But the big boy schools, they're not looking at these guys like they used to.
No, not at all. And that's the point I think Mike just made in the chat as well. But yeah, it's tough for these high school kids, especially when these dudes that keep moving up, guys and gals, they also seemingly have more than 4 years of eligibility, right? They're around for 5, 6, even 7 years. That continues to hurt the high school kids too. There's, I have some kids around here that, are going to a junior college because, hey, I can at least go play here and then maybe try and do like how everybody else is doing, move our way up down the line. So it's tough on the high school kids. It's tough on the coaches. It's just not a good situation for most anyone, really.
You're busy this time of year, aren't you?
Yep, spring sports in full swing. Got
Full swing.
let's see here. Had Daniel Boone Sullivan East baseball on Monday. I had Unicoi County Happy Valley softball last night. Going to the orange and white game on Saturday for Tennessee football. Should be fun to watch that quarterback battle. But yeah, something going on most every day. So a lot of fun, keeps you busy.
Big Orange Caravan's coming to town on the 30th. There's going to be a Meadowview and Kingsport. Tickets are $30, and they tell you right up front that $30 is going into the wire, to the NIL pot. So that's where your money's going. They've said it to help. $30 is $30. Usually a huge crowd over there paying $30 to get in. And they're going to have Heupel and Caldwell and Rick Barnes and Danny White, I think, are the guys and ladies going to be there. So what, in closing, what's your take? Mr. Baseball's right around the corner. He's going to talk some baseball here in a second. So, Lady Vols, she got one recruit re-signed. What's the story in Knoxville with the Lady Vols? What are you hearing?
I mean, it's kind of a lot of suspicious nothing right now.
Suspicious nothing. I like
Because
that.
it's, nobody's really saying exactly what happened. There's not necessarily a big gotcha moment of the reason that all of these kids left or anything. But given the way the season ended for them, long losing streak, one done in an SEC tournament, one done in the NCAA tournament, it's tough for me to buy that it's a situation like with the men of, these ladies just wanted more than what they were getting paid. There's probably at least some part of that because, once again, that's just the era we live in. That's kind of what happens at times. But, yeah, it's hard to believe that there wasn't something or, I don't know. I haven't heard much, but once again, that's kind of suspicious given how things went.
I'm not sure what all that meant, except to say that it's still up in the air. It's, what'd you call it, suspicious?
Suspicious nothing.
Suspicious nothing.
A suspicious quiet, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm sure when they go somewhere else and they'll look back and say, why'd you leave Tennessee? And they'll fire shots, I guess. I don't know. But it's she is back at it. She's hired another coach. She can sit around and cry in your milk all you want to. You'll get ready for a season. Go get some players. And she's doing that one by one. And so, I would look at that as the young lady I would assume from Liberty did. All right, they're all gone. It's going to be a chance for me to play.
Yeah, exactly. It reminds me of a clip from John Calipari's introductory press conference at Arkansas. Bear with me for a second. So, John Calipari gets the job at Arkansas at his introductory press conference. Most of the kids from Arkansas have hit the portal, and he makes the comment of, I met with the team, but in terms of a team, there is no team.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're at right now with both basketball programs right now. There ain't much of a team. Now, obviously, that will change. Kids will come in from the portal. But, yeah, the roster you knew this time last month is not at all what either basketball team is going to have come November.
There you go. Andrew Smith, Sports Writer, Johnson City Press, Kingsport Times News. Thank you, sir. You hungry?
Yes, sir.
Grab yourself something to eat. We'll talk soon. We'll be back in here next week. So we'll take a break. Mr. Baseball due in any minute. We'll talk lots to cover in Major League Baseball. Later on, Jeff Birchfield in his race week at Bristol. Crowds are starting to gather. Wednesday's usually their day. You start seeing a lot of campers on the road coming in. Weather's supposed to be absolutely perfect. As I told Birchfield this morning on the phone, I said, if they don't do it this week, they ain't going to do it on the spring race in Bristol. You got all these guys coming to town. You got the track for the concrete. The weather's going to be in the 80s. There'll be no complaints. There'll be somebody, well, we wish it back in the old. I'm so tired of hearing about that. Wish it was back the way it used to be, the old days. I mean, they're still beating and banging up there, and they're still running the wall, and they're still. So I don't know what are the fans wanting that they're not getting right now. I don't get that.
I'm honestly, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm a little bit on the tire. Last year at the spring race in particular, there wasn't a great deal of fall off, but you look at the fall race, they changed that. It was a lot of comers and goers. So I would expect closer to that than the last spring when Kyle Larson led over 400 laps. But hey, you got to either go or tune in to find out for sure.
Mr. Birchfield will be here in a little while, so we'll take a break. Mr. Baseball is here, looking dapper. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this. You're watching show number 2475. We're 25 away from 2,500 shows. I'm pretty proud of that. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, it's your girl Mayani. A little thing that I love about the Chick-fil-A Cobb salad is the chicken. Literally, the nuggets, they smack. When you put those nuggets in the salad, it just brings the salad to life. I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
Hi, I'm Jasmine. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A market salad is that the chicken is super juicy and the apples can be a little tangy, also a little sweet as well. So there's just a ton of different flavors. It's just so good.
Tom Taylor Sports Show, graduation, Mother's Day. What do you got for us here from the Jewelers Bench?
We have lots of stuff, Tom. We've got Pandora, we have watches, we have E. Newton, pearls, diamonds, diamond earrings, you name it. We got it.
Yep. Birthstones.
Birthstones.
Year-round birthstones, of course. Pearls, you mentioned watches. So they run the gamut, graduation, guys and girls, and certainly for Mother's Day. Liberal layaway policy. Tell us about your layaway policy.
So put it in layaway, make a down payment, and then as long as you're making a monthly payment, we give you typically as long as you need.
So graduations, Mother's Day, right around the corner. Stop by here. Hours are open.
We're open Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 6, and on Saturday, 9:30 to 4.
And how do we find you on social media?
Facebook and Instagram, and then website is jewelersbench10.com.
And the phone number is 423.
542-5600.
There you go. Proud sponsor of Cyclone Sports. Tom Taylor Sports Show, your jewelry needs for Mother's Day and graduation right here at the Jewelers Bench in Elizabethton. Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, look who's here. Mr. Baseball's in the house. Your mother watching?
Yeah, she's watching.
Tom, you're so goofy.
I talked to her on the way over. She didn't realize I was even going to be on the show today. She said, I didn't even realize you were going to be on it. I said, yeah. I said, it's Wednesday, and I don't go into work till 1, so.
There you go. I got him for a few minutes.
Yeah.
That's good stuff there. So, by the way, Evan Carter yesterday, Carter went 1 for 3, drove in a run, scored a run, so continues to swing a hot stick for the Rangers. And so let's start with, got lots to cover. Let's start. Paul Skeens back, having the kind of performance you expected, and he took a no-hitter into, the 5th inning yesterday?
Yeah.
Into the 6th inning, rather.
Sixth inning.
So tell me about Paul Skeens.
So he had that really rough outing, opening day. Gave up a bunch of runs, like I said, 2/3 of an inning. His ERA was up to I forget what it was, 27 or something like that. Next outing, pitched against the Reds, brought it down to 9. Still not at all Paul Skeens like, but he had a good outing. And then yesterday, he was Paul Skeens again.
6 1/3, 2 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, struck out 6.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Had a no-no going into the 6th inning.
He was good. He was on it.
He was on it. It's a good
and
way
you
to
almost
describe it.
expect that from him every time he comes out.
Yep.
So, it makes me wonder just how much pressure is on him, because you do expect that every time he's on the mound.
And he's clearly the ace of the staff.
Oh, absolutely.
He's the ace maybe of the entire National League. I mean, this guy's the deal. So you just wonder what he'd be like if he's on a competitive baseball team. I mean, the Pirates are okay right now, but you don't see him long-term being in the hunt.
Right.
But what would it be like if he's on the Dodgers or just pick a team that would be competitive.
Yankees or somebody like that.
Day in and day out, they got a pretty good shot to win the game. So.
Yeah. Of course, with what the Pirates did with Connor Griffin, that long extension and everything, if he produces like everybody thinks he's going to, who knows where the Pirates may end up.
He's a rich man either way.
He is.
Yeah, whether he does good or not.
Rich young man, 19 years old.
19, was it $140 million over 9 years?
Yeah.
That'll buy some chicken nuggets at the local Chick-fil-A, I can tell you that.
He'll be 28 years old when that expires. He can still sign a big contract after that one.
Absolutely. 'Cause that's still young by baseball's terminology or standards. Juan Soto out for a couple of weeks with a calf strain.
Yeah.
Not good news for the Mets.
Not good news at all for the Mets. You hate to see anybody hurt, and he's huge part of their lineup. He's the guy that strikes fear in everybody when they know he's coming up. So you hate to see something like that for the Mets. I hate seeing anybody get hurt. I don't care who it is. I hate seeing anybody get hurt, especially a guy that you're counting on day in and day out to produce, and he's that kind of guy.
Cade Horton, Cubs, out for the season, elbow surgery.
Yeah, that is a big blow to the Cubs. Big blow. They were really counting on him, I think, this year. Had a fantastic season last year, and I think they were thinking that he was going to be a huge part of that rotation for years to come. So I hate to see that happen this year. Hopefully, they'll get everything fixed up and he'll be back.
The ace of the Astros, Hunter Brown, shuts down for weeks with a shoulder strain. That's not good.
Yeah, that anytime. So the elbow's the big one. That's what you keep hearing about. That ulnar collateral ligament in there getting torn. That's the big one that puts you on the shelf for over a year. But anytime I hear a pitcher with shoulder issues, I just cringe. I mean, that to me. I mean, an elbow is probably worse as far as the injury goes, but to me, a shoulder issue, that can just nag you for the rest of your career. And no matter what it is, if it's serious or not serious, the shoulder with a pitcher is not good.
Hello, Becky Muncie down in Union County. How you doing, lady? Thanks for watching the show. Mike Hines, thank you, sir, being with us. Appreciate you very much. Let's see, Wilson Contreras, his 24th career hit batsman. So does he hug the plate?
By the Brewers.
By the Brewers, yeah. Does he hug the plate? I mean, what's the deal? I mean, every time he plays the Brewers, they hit him. 24 times they've hit him.
They have. He took exception to this last one. The funny thing to me was his brother was behind the plate as the catcher.
Oh, really?
Yeah. His brother was the catcher behind the plate when he got plunked.
That may be words after the game.
Yeah, so.
Did you set me up on the inside of the plate? What did you do?
Yeah.
Are you part of the reason I got hit?
Yeah, so, he's, because, I mean, okay, let's face it. He was with the Cardinals for a long time. And the Cardinals and Brewers have been pretty competitive over the years. And now he moves on to the Red Sox. And I don't know, maybe there is a little animosity. I don't know.
When you go up a team 24 times, you've been hit by the same team 24 times over the years.
Yeah.
You'd have to think there's some intentional there somewhere.
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think.
That's what I'm thinking. So
Yeah.
whether it is or not, 24 times I've been hit and by the same team.
Yeah.
So, wow. So he sees him on the schedule like, oh, boy, put on my pads.
Here
So
we
I get
go.
up. Yeah, I'm going to get plunked.
Yeah.
So, all right, you look at the records right now. The Red Sox, unacceptable, 3-8. The worst team in baseball
That's hard to believe.
at 3-8. The Red Sox. And Ramon Anthony's come out and said it's unacceptable. Several guys said this we got to get this thing turned around. What's wrong in Beantown?
So I haven't really watched them much except that first series in Cincinnati. And, they came out that first game. Of course, Garrett Crochet threw a fantastic game, as he usually does. So I think they still think anytime he's on the mound, they've got a shot. But they're pitching. It's pitching and hitting. They're just not able to outscore their opponents. I mean, that's what it is. If they have a good game, a good hitting game, and score a lot of runs, they give up a lot of runs.
We're live here at Chick-fil-A in Johnson City. The Jalapeno Ranch Club is a sandwich right now for
It's
the
good.
springtime. Is it good?
It's good.
Got a little kick to it?
A little bit, yeah. So I don't know what they do to their jalapenos here at Chick-fil-A, but this is a couple sandwiches they've had with jalapenos, and they're pickled and they're almost a little bit got a little sweet flavor.
Oh, really?
With the jalapeno flavor, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, and the sauce, that jalapeno ranch sauce, is really what makes it.
There you go.
I think next one I get, I'm gonna ask for a second pack of the sauce.
Well, today may be your day.
Yeah.
All right, National League. Let's take a look real quick. Number one team in the East for now. With Soto going down, we'll see. Mets at 7-4. In the Central, the Reds of Milwaukee are tied for the lead at 8-3, and of course the best team in baseball. Boy, this is a shocker. The Dodgers are 9-2, leading the West right now. So let's go back to the East. Mets 7-4. Braves, Phillies. What's going on there?
Yeah, so Braves having some injury issues, of course, and everybody has a little bit of that, I think. But the Braves, I think, have been hit especially hard with it. And of course, their game last night, Andrew and I were talking as we were changing seats here a few minutes ago, just how comical that was with Jorge Soler.
He got some shots in.
He did.
He's a big old boy, too.
Yeah, he did. And the funny thing for me is, he played for the Braves.
Yep, they're teammates.
he pretty much, was a big leader on that team when they won the World Series. When Ronald Acuna went down, they went out and re-signed and got a whole new outfield, and he was one of the guys that really produced for them. So
it looked like Lopez hit him in the head with the baseball.
Yeah, he had the baseball in his hand.
He threw it. I think it hit him in the head.
Yeah, and
of course he had the batting helmet on, but still, it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
What I think is funny, we talked about this before you got here. The bullpen, they always run into to get in the fight. By the time they get there, it's over.
Yeah.
They're jogging in. It's like they don't really.
They're not running real hard.
Yeah. They're supporting the guys, but it's like we're not running wide open, get in there and get in a scuffle.
Yeah.
It's like let's jog in and see what's going on.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they do.
Yeah. So and they jog back out because it ended pretty quick.
Yeah,
so
and that's both bullpens. They'll both do that usually.
Yeah.
If you see them really sprinting to get in there, it's something major happening.
In the Central, the Reds, Milwaukee both lead the division, tied right now at 8-3. What's your thoughts on the Central?
So the Central's really interesting because I do think with I'm really anxious to see just what the presence of Connor Griffin's going to do with Pittsburgh. I think he's going to have a big influence on them, and I think they're going to be better than a lot of people think they are. Milwaukee has surprised me a little bit because I thought they took a hit in the offseason and probably weren't as good as they were last year, especially losing Freddie Peralta. I thought that was a big blow for them. But Brandon Woodruff has come back pretty strong for them. And now let's see what happens as Bryce Terang has gone down to injury too. So let's see how they handle that and how that takes care of itself for them. To me, Milwaukee, because I've always said, the Cardinals were like Teflon. No matter what happened, no matter who they brought up, they became an all-star or something. It's just crazy how good they always were. And even when adversity hit, something happened that just turned it around for them. And it seems like that's what happens with Milwaukee now. They just deal with things, and they deal with them in a great way and move forward and continue to win. Because if you look at their lineup, Jackson Churio has been hurt too. If you look at their lineup, they're not all that scary, but they just go out and win.
Yeah, talking about the Brewers. Yeah.
Yeah, they just go out and win. And, the Cardinals are about where I thought they would be. The Reds are doing good. But let me say this. I was looking at the schedule the other day. The Reds need to get a big lead if they're going to win anything because their September is absolutely horrendous. They have 2 series against the Dodgers. I think 7 games against the Dodgers in September.
Wow.
I think they play Milwaukee twice in September. Can't remember who else, but it's like I looked at their September and I thought they may not even win a game. It was like a powerhouse schedule. I was amazed when I saw it. I went, oh my goodness, what a schedule.
You look in the West, the Dodgers are 9-2, right where everybody thought they'd be. Giants are not doing well under Tony Vitello. Hearing more and more coming out of that camp that a lot more rumblings.
Yeah. Giants. So I think I picked the Giants. I can't remember where I picked them in that division. I think I picked them second.
You did.
And and so far they've not shown me that they deserve that pick.
No.
Not at all.
No, they're not. You're right.
So. Hopefully Tony Vitello can figure it out and right the ship. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so far, they're not showing us much.
The Giant fan base is not behind him right now, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
What I'm reading, what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and somebody that we both know that is my boss is a Giants fan. I don't know if you knew that or not. But
she is?
She's a Giants fan.
I know she's a Raiders fan.
She's a Giants fan.
Well, we'll pray for
her. Grew
her.
up in Oakland.
Yeah. We'll pray for her.
Yeah, but she's a Giants fan, so.
We'll lay hands on her and pray for her. In the American League, the Yankees leading the East at 8-2. Well, you think about the East right now. What's my Orioles doing?
So the Orioles are staying right in the mix. They're kind of in the middle. I think that I didn't really pay attention to what they did last night, but I think they were like a game under 500 maybe, something like that. I can look and see, but they were. I think the Orioles, if they can just hang around the 500 mark, I think they're going to be in good shape. I think they can. I think they can pull out at least a wild card if they can do that. So we'll have to wait and see. But let me see where they are. Oh, they're 5-6, so they're 1 game under 500 right now. Yankees are the only team with a winning record in that division.
Yep.
Toronto's a surprise, 4-7.
Starting slow.
Starting slow. You got to think that's going to change for them, but who knows?
In the Central, Cleveland leads that division with a record of 7-5, and so everybody else there has got a losing record, don't they?
They do, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Kansas City and Minnesota are both 5-6, and then Detroit and Chicago are 4-7. Which Detroit, a little bit of a surprise there, but of course they had to face the Dodgers, and even Scooble took some beatings from from some of those Dodgers hitters, especially Teoscar Hernandez.
Wow.
Yeah,
They are just rock solid, top to bottom.
They
the
are.
Dodgers. In the West, the Rangers, Evan Carter and the boys are leading right now with a record of 6-5. So, first year manager, trying to mesh his team, and
yeah.
so far so good, I guess.
Yeah, and I like Skip Schumacher as a manager. I think he'll do a good job there. I think he did great when he was with the Marlins. So I'm looking forward to what he's going to do there in Texas. I think there's two surprises in that division for me right now, and that's Seattle at 4-8 because. Cal Raleigh finally hit his first home run of the year. He's got one now, and I'm a little surprised that they're not playing a little better than they were because they've lost 4 in a row. And then the Angels are 6-6, so the Angels are playing pretty good baseball, and I have high hopes because, I love Mike Trout. Really want to see Mike Trout
Do something for you.
do something
before he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I would love to see them make the playoffs. Love to see that, and not just make the playoffs, but win in the playoffs.
You look at a good pitching matchup today. The Dodgers in Toronto. Dylan Cease for the Blue Jays and Ohtani for the Dodgers. That'll be a 3:07 starts an afternoon game in Toronto. You have Singer for the Reds and Perez for the Marlins tonight down in Miami. Your other regional team, of course, the Braves with Grant Holmes against the Detmers, against the Angels. Now, do you think, I asked Andrew this, do you think last night's, because Lopez won't be pitching, but Solar may be out there on the field, will this boil over or is it going to die down?
It depends on if they throw him inside.
I don't think it's over.
If they pitch him inside, look out again.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, if any of the Angels hitters gets hit, period, no matter who they are.
Yeah.
And it's even at least a bit questionable, So, he hit a home run, he got plunked.
Yeah.
And then the next at bat, he throws it to the backstop over his head.
Yep.
You got to think, okay, you done hit me once.
These are
come
major league
on.
players. Come on.
Yeah, you got to think, okay, you've hit me once. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's get over it. Let's move on. And so it won't be over today, I don't think. I think they'll be wearing it on their sleeve again today. And if something happens, yeah, you can look for the benches to clear again.
I know you got to get to work. I got one more thing. The ABS system, yay or nay? What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. So it ended a game the other night. I don't know if you heard that or not, but yeah, there was an overturned call and ended a game.
Evan Carter's part of it.
So, yeah, he was. Yeah,
He made history. The
So-
first ABS walk-off in
Yeah.
the history.
yeah.
It's the top of the ninth, 1-2 count, ran it in on the inside of him, and umpire called a ball, 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's 2 out in the game. So the catcher appeals it, they overrule it, strike 3 call, game over.
Yeah.
And Evan Carter was the man of the plate, so he's
Yeah.
our very own Evan Carter's part of baseball history. Who was the first guy to get caught up into a walk-off ABS decision?
Yeah.
Evan Carter, Texas Rangers.
Yeah, so far I like it. It doesn't take long. That's the good thing about it. Everybody gets to see it. They show it on this big screen at the stadium and everything. I'd say the umpires absolutely despise it because more times than not, they're wrong.
Yeah.
And let's face it, it's because a lot of times the pitches that they appeal for, are fairly close pitches, or sometimes not. I mean, there was that CB Buckner game, but when they weren't even close. But when an umpire's missing by 3 inches, that's probably a problem. But yeah, I saw a couple last night that I was like, wow, that's like, when we're talking about like a 1/10 of an inch or something like that,
By the hair of your chin.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, anybody can miss that.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are,
Yeah.
how good you are, you can miss that.
Yep. I agree with you 100%.
So, but so far I like it. I mean, let's get the calls right, and if that's going to help do it, then yeah, let's go for it.
Get you some lunch. I don't want you to be
Yes,
late.
sir. I sure will.
Mr. Baseball. Tom, you're so goofy. Yeah. Did you have a good Easter, by the way?
Yeah, sure did.
Good.
Yeah, I got to preach on Easter.
Where'd you preach?
At Keystone Presbyterian Church.
Good for you.
Yeah, sure did.
He's going to be preaching again full-time in the pulpit soon. I got a good feeling about that.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yep. Quick break. We'll be right back. We got more for you right after this from, speaking of, Pleasant Beach Baptist Church and the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
This is Pastor Mark Fowler, and we want to invite you to be with us at Pleasant Beach Baptist Church sometime soon. And we're thankful for what God is doing, and we've had visitors almost every week. We have so many people that God is using His Word to accomplish a work in their life. And we want you to come. Now, I think about our society today, and there's a lot of talk about the negative aspects and generations and what's missing and what we're going to do and how do we face this social issue and how do we face that social issue. And that is always the buzz. And if we're not careful, we talk like God doesn't have an answer. 2 Timothy chapter 3 we looked at the other night together in our church, and it reminds us that yes, in the last days there's going to be some difficult things come, dangerous times, but the antidote is always God's Word. And so what we're trying to do is to provide Bible answers for today's tough questions. And we're building Believers by the Book. So we want your family to come. We're thankful to have a Sunday school hour and a junior church and master clubs and a youth group and all those things going on. But what we're trying to accomplish is to get the Word of God into the hearts and minds of God's people.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, let's run down Major League Baseball schedule for this Wednesday. These are the day games. Got a lot of them today. Again, warmer weather this time of year. Cool nights as they try and get them in during the day as much as they can. Padres will be in Pittsburgh. Kansas City, Cleveland. The Red Sox, again, worst team in baseball right now, 3-8, will be hosting the Brewers again today. You have Baltimore and Chicago to battle the White Sox. As we told you, Texas and Evan Carter hosting Seattle at a 2:35 start in Arlington. Dodgers in Toronto. Dylan Cease for Toronto against Shohei Ohtani for the Dodgers, which should be a really good matchup pitching-wise on that one. Houston and Colorado. Philadelphia and San Francisco. St. Louis and Washington. The Angels hosting Atlanta. Detmers for the Angels and Grant Holmes will go for the Bravos. And then Arizona, the Mets. Everything else under the lights tonight. Cincinnati, Miami. A Singer for the Reds, and Perez will go for Miami. That's one of our regional teams. Cubs will be in Tampa Bay. The Yankees hosting Athletics, and Detroit will be in Minnesota. That's your schedule for today in Major League Baseball on this Wednesday, April the 8th. We're glad you're with us. Appreciate you being with us here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Let's see here. We got Mr. Birchfield going to be here any second talking NASCAR. We have some other sports to talk about. Let's do that. Let's jump in here while we got a chance to do it and talk about some other sports right now. Of course, coming up, he's going to be talking about race week. We'll leave that to him because we got lots to talk about for the Bristol Motor Speedway Food City 500 coming up on Sunday. It's a triple header of action. Friday is the Truck Series, the Tennessee Army National Guard 250 on Friday night. That's going to be again at Bristol Motor Speedway, and that will start to drop the green flag usually around 7:30. Yep, be 7:30. On Saturday, the NASCAR Raleigh Auto Parts, the Suburban Propane 300 at 7:30 on Saturday. Then on Sunday, the big boys get out there at 3 o'clock. They'll drop the green flag for the Food City 500 coming up on Sunday at Bristol Motor Speedway. So it's here. It's race week in Bristol. A lot of out-of-town cars, campers coming in. This will be a big day for the campers to be on the road. So if you see them out there, be nice to them because they're bringing money, a lot of money. And so that's what we got going on there for the race. And we'll let him talk more about that when he gets here. All right, the final week of the regular season, the NBA is here. Hello, Patty Ray. How you doing, lady? Playoff picture is in focus. 9 teams are already in. Detroit, the Celtics, the Knicks, the Cavaliers, the Thunder, the Spurs. Go Spurs. The Nuggets, the Lakers, and the Rockets are all in. Hawks are in position to grab the East number 5 seed. But the battle for the 6th and final playoff spot in the conference is a 5-team race. In the West, the Timberwolves need one more win to get a top 6 seed. So the Lakers without Luka and Austin Reeves will drop 2 games in a row, just 1 game up on the Rockets for the number 4 seed. They're in, but they want to get the home court advantage, and right now they don't. Final day of the regular season is coming up on Sunday to decide everything in the NBA playoffs. So if you started today, and I don't know why I'll do this because you don't start today, but if you started today, the play-in tournament will be the 76ers and the Hornets and the Magic and the Heat. And the Suns and the Clippers and the Trailblazers and the Warriors. They'll be the play-in tournament. See who gets into the big show. You know, what's really interesting, I ask people about the NBA. Most people I ask, they could care less. I don't know whether you do or not, but it's like, we don't. NBA, I don't watch it, don't follow it, don't care anything about it. I hear that a lot from people. So, but as a service to the show, we bring it, talk about it when it's playoff time. All right, the National Hockey League, they're winding their regular season down. So right now, you've got in the Eastern Conference of the National Hockey League, Tampa Bay, Buffalo, Montreal are in. In the Metro Division, Carolina Hurricanes and the Penguins are in, and the Flyers. The wild card is Boston and Ottawa. In the hunt, on the outside looking in right now, are the Islanders and the Detroit Red Wings and the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Washington Capitals. In the Western Conference, in Colorado, the Dallas Stars, Minnesota. Pacific Division, in Edmonton, Anaheim, and Vegas. And the Stanley Cup playoffs coming up. In the wild card, you've got Utah and the LA Kings in the wild card. In the hunt, the Predators are still hanging on. Predators are 36 and 31. So the Predators, the San Jose Sharks, Winnipeg, and the St. Louis Blues are all still with a chance to get into the Stanley Cup playoffs. So, but right now, they're on the outside looking in. We're in the inside looking out. We're here live again at Chick-fil-A in Johnson City. And so we're here again on an absolute gorgeous Wednesday. We're here on Wednesdays. Tomorrow we're going to be at Duck Crossing Antique Store in Elizabethton. To wrap up the week, we'll be at Food City on a Food City Friday, race week. Get your race tickets, by the way, at any Food City in the Tri-Cities. You don't have to go to the track. You can get them at your Food City wherever you shop, or if you don't shop, you should. But if you don't, you can go into any Food City and buy your race tickets. Again, the truck race on Friday night. The Suburban Propane 300 on the O'Reilly Series on Saturday evening at 7:30. Then on Sunday at 3 will be the Food City 500. So that's your race schedule this week. Weather's going to be perfect. As I said, and I'll let Birchfield vouch for this, if they're ever going to have a big crowd, there'll be no excuses this weekend. So you got the best and the best coming to town. You got a triple headers race. Weather's supposed to be good all the way through. 70s on Friday, low 80s on Saturday and Sunday. So people always talking about the rain. What I like, I was up here for 20 years at the track announcer. I always like people, well, we should took back to the old days. Well, what exactly is the old days? I mean, the old drivers are gone. They're not coming back, so the names and the personalities are gone. You can't bring those back. The racing, to me, is as good as it's been. They put the grip down on the bottom of the track. Birchfield will be talking about that in a moment. And I don't know what they look for. I don't know what they want, and I'll let him. He hears it too as a sports writer with the paper covering the track. He hears it probably more than I do, because he's up there all the time. Well, I wish they go back to the old days, old day racing. I don't know what old day racing means, but anyway, we are here broadcasting live. We'll take a break. We'll be right back, and we intend to be joined by the man himself, Jeff Birchfield, on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
We're proud to help our region move forward and help reopen every business we can.
Brumman Sports Shop in downtown Elizabeth with your favorite school's T-shirts, polos, or hoodies. They can put your school, church, or company's logo on lots of different styles of hats, including Nike and Richardson and now Travis Matthew. Windbreakers, sublimated shirts, pullovers, koozies. They can order for any area school and your favorite team. Dry fit sleeveless hoodies, Nike dry fit T-shirts, women's and toddler sizes. You can order any uniform for any sport, including the pants or shorts from Brumman Sports Shop. And they always have a clearance rack to save you money. Plaques, trophies, medals, and ribbons, and all the engraving is done in-house. And they offer hard-to-find Letterman jackets of your favorite school for guys, ladies, and now elementary and middle school athletes too. And they offer all the different sports patches as well. Brumman Sports Shop, downtown Elizabeth, and Facebook, Instagram, website, BrummanSportsShop.com, phone 542-2321, Brumman Sports Shop in downtown Elizabeth. Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, we've got Jeff Birchfield coming in momentarily to talk to us about what's going on at Bristol Motor Speedway. I'm going to quiz him. See, this guy's forgot more about NASCAR than you and I, at least when, you probably know more than I do, but that he does. So the active Bristol winners right now, there's 7 guys that have won at Bristol going to be there in the track this weekend in the hunt. Kyle Busch leads everybody with 8 wins. Denny Hamlin with 4. Kyle Larson and Brad Keselowski with 3 each. Joey Logano with 2. Christopher Bell and Chris Buescher have won 1 time at Bristol. So how many guys have won consecutive races at Bristol? 13. So here's you look at records and they'll be broken. I'm going to go on record about the record and say Darrell Waltrip's 8 straight wins at Bristol will never be broken. I just think there's too much parity. I mean, this guy was such a dominant driver back in the day, but I just don't see. Cale Yarborough won 4 straight at one point. But Waltrip, again, leads Bristol with 8 straight wins from 1979 to 1984. That's getting with it. So, first-time Cup winners at Bristol. I called 2 of those. Kurt Busch. In fact, that was my second race. Spring race. In 2002, Kurt Busch won. From the 27th spot, Elliott Sadler from South Boston, Virginia, started 38th and won the race in 2001. Ernie Irvan won it, starting in the 6th spot. Rusty Wallace won it, starting with the 14th spot and his first-time Cup winner at Bristol. And Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt, starting in the 9th spot, won his first-time Cup winner at Bristol on Sunday, April the 1st, 1979. How about that? So it's, yep. How many guys have won a race from the pole? 27 times in the history of Bristol Motor Speedway. If you're sitting on the pole, you're going to win the race. That's not real good odds, but that's what it is. So I got a whole packet of Bristol information. So some good, some useless, but at least for me, but for some bugs wouldn't be. So NASCAR Hall of Fame Richard Petty leads the series and starts at Bristol with 60. So there you go. Now, here he comes right there. I'm going to take a break, get him settled in. He's going to do a quiz. I'm going to quiz him right after this. Talking to Mike Barnett, the owner of Big John's Closeouts, proud sponsor of the Tom Taylor Sports Show and Cyclone Sports. Why buy here from the local guy versus the big box chain stores?
Well, I think, one of the things you have to consider when you're talking about buying local is you're supporting people that live in your community, that worship with you, that are involved in civic groups with you, that your neighbors, people that you've known for years, and also, the proceeds stay right here in Carter County. They go to not only pay the taxes here and stuff, which any business that exists here does, but it supports athletic programs, it supports nonprofits, it supports needs within the community, maybe where you've got a veteran that has a need or something that we can help offset the cost through discounts or donations, and stuff. Then we get hit with that quite a bit, as far as that nature. So we're able to help the community as well as encourage our young people, both from small all the way up through high school, with banners, sponsoring their sports teams and stuff of that nature. Plus, we have a vested interest in helping the customer that comes in. We want them to get the right item for the job and leave with what they need to finish that job. We want to listen to them, understand what they're doing, and they're not just to us just a number, if you would. They're someone we want to build a relationship with and a friendship with that trust us.
Pretty simple, folks. Be loyal, buy local, and buy from Big John's Closeouts in downtown Elizabethton, where they hammer high prices. Proud sponsor of Cyclone Sports and the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Yep, that's right. They said they like race week. They do. Here's my buddy, sports writer, John City Press, Kingsport Times News. Do you get extra jazzed up because it's race week at Bristol?
Shoot, I'm as happy if I was Greg Salyer at a Cincinnati Reds World Series game.
There you go. There you go. And that's pretty happy. So we've got it. It's race week at Bristol, ready to roll. So you got the tab out today. put this. Let's selfishly plug this. It's in both the press and the Times News. There
and
it is.
Mountain City Tomahawk and Irwin Record as well.
There you go. It's a pull-out. Food City 500, our great sponsor here on the show. So what's in there? What will we find? This is free. It's part of the paper. What do you get?
Well, that one is a story I actually borrowed from Bristol Motor Speedway. It's about the band of brothers, but we've got some driver features. And one of my favorite stories, I have a story where I compare the 7-time champions. While Dale Earnhardt is the greatest 7-time champion of all time, while Richard Petty's the greatest 7-time champion of all time, or why Jimmy Johnson is. Then I make an argument why each of them are not the greatest champion of all time. So
That's good. It's in
sort of
here.
leave it up to the reader to decide.
Where's it? Where is this at? In here?
Yeah, just keep on
Lebanon.
turning.
Keep turning, he said.
Or as the preacher always says there at the collection plate, just keep on digging a little deeper there, man.
Dig a little deeper. You got it.
Now there's one on Jesse Love, the defending champion in the O'Reilly series.
Yep.
Ken Daffron is a sponsor there. He's a big supporter of local racing over there at Kingsport Speedway. Connor Zillich, Christopher Bell talking about his win last September. And then we got Front Row Motorsports, which is owned by Bob Jenkins from Dandridge. And then I got another Front Row story coming in tomorrow's paper, Lane Riggs. There we go. There's the story I was telling you about.
NASCAR's greatest comparing the 7-time champions. Why Petty isn't the greatest 7-time champion. Why he is. Why Earnhardt is or is not. Why, who else? Jimmy Johnson is or is not. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Be good read. I'm going to go home and read it. I can't read it now. I'll go home and read it. So.
And then there's some of the drivers, the guys who won most races without a Cup Series championship. Of course, got Denny Hamlin and the great Junior Johnson and Mark Martin. Then we've got little driver capsules of all the guys in the field there.
Pretty cool. Look at this. Anyway, all this is in the tab, which is this in today's paper, and it's obviously free. So.
And we got a couple more stories there with Kurt Busch, and I think a couple more there at the end as well.
So pick it up. Pick your local paper up today, and you'll get that free. It's good keepsake. Great weather predicted for the Food City 500, says Mr. Birchfield. He's got his weather cap on, and he said, top of his sports section today, great weather for the Food City 500. So, anticipating a big crowd?
Yeah, and then we got a William Byron feature in there too. So, yeah, we definitely, I think they'll have a good crowd. I mean, you know, obviously you don't get as big a crowd here in the spring anymore as you do in the fall, or late summer, but I mean, it's still, I think, will be a good crowd here.
Before you got here, I was going on about, I was up here for 20 years doing the track announcing, and so you used to hear towards the end of my tenure was, man, I wish we had it back like the old days racing. We've lost the old days racing. So what does that mean? To me, it looks like the competition is as good as it's ever been. They put the grip down on the bottom part of the track. What are the fans saying they're missing? Are they just complaining for no reason, or is it legit?
I think it's legit, and one thing I thought about coming here, if you remember, the Thursday used to be a 3-day event. You had qualifying on Friday, you know, you'd have your Busch race then and then the Cup race. But also you'd always have the drivers were out in the community. Even the biggest names in the sport, Dale Earnhardt, Terry Labonte, Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin, they would go to Food City Race Night. You know, yeah, they have the Food City Fan Zone thing at the track, but it's just not the same as it was. You know, you remember how big that deal was. They'd have usually in the spring at Meadowview Convention Center,
and then see it. Yep.
And then you'd have in summer you'd have the one there at State Street, and I mean it'd be packed with fans, getting autographs, interacting with the drivers. I mean it's still a great event. Bristol Motor Speedway does a great job, but you know, like I said, I think you need a little more of that. Ross Chastain's been really great. He's doing 3 or 4 things that I saw this year. Joey Logano's been another driver, but outside of those two, I've not seen very much interaction out in the community, with the drivers. I mean, they're not making the appearances and all like, they used to did.
Yep, and that just creates more fan support because you go out and stand across the table from your favorite driver and get something signed. Hey, I remember when they had Food City Race Night at J. Fred Johnson Stadium.
Yeah, and I can remember other times too, like just drivers making appearances. I remember Dale Earnhardt one time. I lived out there, near Wiseman's, and Wrangler sponsored him back in the day. He was out there. Another time he was up at, then was Grindstaff Chevrolet in Elizabeth and signing autographs, Rusty Wallace was over there at used to be Patey Lumber Company, now Builder's First Source, cause Cox Lumber sponsored Kenny's car, So I remember, going and meeting those guys. Tony Stewart was out here at the old NASCAR Cafe. Those guys were just a lot more active in the community back then. And I mean, now so many of the drivers are insulated and they stay in their, during race week. And I understand. I mean, they've got such a tight schedule, but so much of it's just spent there either in the hauler or, they're not out there like they used to be.
So you think that hurts the sport?
It definitely hurts the sport
Yeah.
because that was always one of NASCAR's big things, is our drivers are more accessible than other athletes and all that.
Yep. All right, so here we go. We're going to do some – he didn't know we were going to do this. I'm going to show you how good this guy is in trivia, for Bristol Motor Speedway trivia. All right, and I'm just grabbing stuff here. We're going to do 4 or 5 questions, and that's it. And we'll get into the race itself this weekend. All right, there's been 2 females that made NASCAR Cup Series starts at Bristol. Who are they?
Well, that one's pretty easy. It's Danica Patrick, and then the other one would be Janet Guthrie. And her best finish at Bristol, I'll give you a little piece of trivia on top of that. A guy from Bluff City actually was the relief driver on that, and that was John A. Utzman, who also relief drove for Benny Parsons when he won his race in 1973 at Bristol.
Okay, you can go along with me. You don't have to insult me. So, well, that's kind of easy. So,
Oh, sorry about that.
Well, see, I thought it was going to be a tough question. These ain't going to be tough for him. This guy knows the sport. All right, let's see here.
I got another little relief driver tidbit. I was watching some old racing clips, and back in 1984, a lot of people make a big deal. Dale Earnhardt ran 85 at Bristol, ran out of power steering early in the race, and he completed the race, but he did need a relief driver the year before at Rockingham. It was a really hot day, and Johnson City's own Connie Saylor was his relief driver that day.
Well, I'm even going to do this because he's going to get it run them right.
I don't know about that one.
Active Bristol winners. Bush has got 8, Kyle Busch. Who are the 2 drivers got 1 win at Bristol race? Active drivers.
2 active drivers with just 1 win at Bristol. Wow.
Yep.
Let me think on this one a minute. You might have me stumped on this one.
No.
Let's see. Christopher Bell would be one of them.
Ding, 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 ding. All right.
Because he won last September. And let's see. Trying to think, Kyle Larson's multiple time. Brad Keselowski. Chris Buescher would be the other one.
Ding, 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 ding. See. Why am I doing this? I don't know. So we're going – all right. First-time Cup winners at Bristol. There's been 5 of them. Can you name them?
I can name some of them for sure. I know Dale Earnhardt in 79.
Ding.
Rusty Wallace in 86.
Ding.
Ernie Irvan in 1990.
Ding.
Well, Chris Buescher, I think, is one of them.
No.
Or no, he won at Pocono. I'm sorry. I said Ernie Irvan already.
Yes,
Elliott Sadler would be one of them.
Ding. Got 1 more.
Let's see. What year was it?
02.
Oh, that'd be Kurt Busch.
Put that up, Tom. I will. There ain't no sense going any further than that. So he knows what he's doing, folks. He's phenomenal. And so that's why I got to pick up this tab because he does a great job. Is the tab pretty much yours? Did you write everything? You got some other?
Most of it. We got a couple stories Bristol Motor Speedway contributed, so we appreciate them on that for sure.
So,
and then I need to give a huge thanks to Aaron Blevins and Mike Akers over there at the Times News who designed that. They did just phenomenal job. I think
did.
Mike's cover there is
very nice.
Really nice.
Very nice. Yep. Good job, guys. All right. Kyle Larson ready to defend his crown in the O'Reilly Series. Let's start with the trucks. Trucks will be Friday. The Tennessee Army National Guard 250. Who do you like in the truck series?
I tell you, that truck series race is packed this year. I'm going to go with your guy, Kyle Busch,
Yeah.
who's in it. But he's one of about 4 Cup Series drivers in there. But it's hard to bet also against, like I said, Front Row Motorsports with Lane Riggs and Chandler Smith. They've won the last 3 races at Bristol. You also have Corey Heim, who, if he wins, he's got a chance at $500,000 because he's won a $50,000 bonus, $100,000. If he wins his 3rd in this thing called the Triple Truck Challenge, he'll get another $350,000. So, and then those other Tricon trucks are really tough too with Caden Honeycutt, who's tied for him with the points lead right now.
So the Cup drivers in the truck series will sell tickets. You got Kyle Busch going to be there. Who else?
Carson Hocevar is going to be there. Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain.
That's awesome. So that's going to be Friday night. 4 of the big boys will be in the truck race. Saturday evening, you got the Suburban Propane 300, the new title race for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Larson's set to defend his crown. Who else is that going to be a good race too?
Oh yeah, I mean you've got all the regulars there in the O'Reilly series who really are tough. You know, not only Larson's going to be there, but also Connor Zilic is going to be racing in that one as far as Cup Series drivers. But you've got Justin Allgaier, you know, Jesse Love, Austin Hill, all those guys that are typically tough. Sheldon Creed got his first win after all these runner-up finishes, so I think he'll be a contender as well.
You talk a lot about Connor Zillage. You like this guy, don't you?
I think he's definitely got a ton of talent. He's reminding me a little bit of Jeff Gordon right now, because Jeff Gordon's first year in Cup, he didn't win a race, and he had like 11 DNFs, had really a rough year, but still won Rookie of the Year. And then after that, of course, we know what a phenomenal career Jeff Gordon had.
Yeah, pretty good year. Yep. I remember seeing the guy. This is a great story. He was at Wendy's in Kingsport. I walked in there. This is after the Food City race night at J. Fred Johnson Stadium, sitting there by himself in his street clothes. And I looked and I thought, that's Jeff Gordon. I said, hey, Jeff. He said, hey, you're eating a bowl of chili by himself. That's the craziest thing. Of course, now there's no way he could go anywhere without being mobbed. But he was an unknown, a no-namer, if you will, up-and-comer. And so sitting there eating a bowl of chili at Wendy's, that's been, gosh, how many years ago? When's the last time we had a Food City race night at
I was
J. Fred?
probably, I'd say in the 1990s probably. So
Long time ago. I was about 12 years old then. You? About the same?
Yeah, about the same.
So,
you know, Jeff, he's always been just super nice to me. There was, well, I think I told you the one time I had the abscess tooth in the Army, and that's a long story, so I won't get into it on there. Anyway, I had blood trickling out of my mouth, and we had a function that night at Bristol Motor Speedway, and I'm talking about how good I'm feeling with that blood trickling out of the side of my mouth, and Jeff Gordon's looking at me like, who is this maniac?
yeah, this is nut job. That's all right. Do what you got to do. So you look to the big race on Sunday, the Food City 500, 3 o'clock start time. It's the 38th running, is that right, of the Food City 500?
35th for Food City as sponsor.
35th.
Yeah.
35th, the Food City 500. So who do you like? I mean, Busch has got 8 wins. Can he do it? I know he's been struggling this year. He's been struggling for, I don't know how many races he won going without a win. It's been a bunch.
Yeah.
So can he win it?
He could. I mean, I think Bristol is a little bit of a wild card race, but I mean, I would probably lean toward. I mean, I guess my pre-race favorite, I think, is Denny Hamlin. With so many unknowns, and you know, he's such a smart driver. Now, you really hope that there is some tire fall off. It's not the deal maybe as extreme as we've had in a couple of those races, but I sure don't want one of those races again where Kyle Larson, you know, leads over 400 laps, and it's a terrible race. Me and you were talking off the air, we've had so many terrible sporting events lately. I mean, the NCAA tournament, other than the UConn-Duke game, wasn't very good, and then the Super Bowl was, you know, we're not very excited. I mean, we've had a lot of, seemed like blowouts in sports lately.
So a dull race at Bristol's where one guy gets on front and just leads the race, and it's like a ho-hummer, right?
Yeah, and there's no cautions and really not a lot of passing, you know. I mean, if you go to a sporting event, you want to see it competitive. You want to see it, you know, come down to the end and really not knowing who's going to win until the final moments.
So let's talk tires at Bristol. They're bringing softer tires in, so the average fan out there going, what, you know, we all have tire pressure in our car vehicles we drive, or vans, whatever we have. So when you have a softer tire coming in from Goodyear, what's that mean to Bristol?
Well, hopefully it means a little more tire wear than that. Like, people will have to come in and maybe change tires at the end of the race, because if you think about some of the classic finishes, like that 1999 Earnhardt-Labonte, you know, one thing made that race a great race is Earnhardt stays out on old tires. Terry Labonte gets new tires, and then he comes up through the field just passing everybody and gets by Earnhardt on the last lap, and then, of course, Earnhardt bumped him out of the way and ended up winning the race. A little controversy, but still, I mean, that's what you want to see. You want to see guys being able to pass each other, and that 750 horsepower should help as well, as far as guys being able to actually go and make a pass, you know.
Is that higher than normal?
Yeah, it was like 550 before. So
all right, you're getting 200 more horsepower.
Yeah.
At Bristol, that's a big deal, to say the least. And then for folks who will go there this weekend, you'll see down on the bottom groove of the track, it'll be a black strip, if you will, and it's that grip stuff, right?
Yeah, it depends. They sometimes use a compound called PJ1, and other times they use something called resin, and the resin's a little more creates more tire wear, seems like. And when they've used the resin, that along with the lower temperatures, which we're not going to have low temperatures this weekend. It's supposed to be beautiful weather, but hopefully that'll create a little better racing as well.
So the grip, it's sprayed on. How's it applied?
Yeah, I think it's a sprayed on. I'm not exactly for sure on that. I'm not actually seeing them apply that, but yeah, it's actually the thing though that does is instead of everybody just running that top groove, if you can make that bottom groove where it's pretty equal, just makes better racing overall. And Bristol's not the only track they've done it at, but it seems to be the track where it works the best at.
So what's the key to winning Bristol? How do you stay out of trouble? Well, you stay out of trouble, but it's 500 laps. It's a grind. It's every 14 seconds. The driver's talking about the G-force return like this, how it just takes its toll on your body in there. It's going to be hot inside those cars. So what's it take to navigate Bristol to win it?
Well, like you said, number one is staying out of trouble. Number two, it's not just the drivers, the pit crews. They can't make any big mistakes and get like 2 and 3 laps down. It's hard to make those up at a place like Bristol. Easy to lose laps there. But, if you do have a long green flag run, it's being consistent. So that's why I like, guys like a Denny Hamlin who are a veteran driver, or maybe even like an upset like a guy like maybe Brad Keselowski comes out. And, RFK racing's been pretty strong lately. Maybe they have a little bit for, Bristol.
Some folks may not realize we have spotters, which is Bristol's huge. They're up on top of the roof. Tell what a spotter does and how big a role they play in the Bristol races.
Well, a spotter is a guy who's looking down at the track and he's got radio communication with the driver and he's telling them, like, hey, there's a car on your inside or, you're clear of them or whatever. And, so those can be a big role there at Bristol because the racing is so tight and all. Some drivers like the spotter talking to them all the time like that, but others only want them, to talk when they really have something like a wreck in front of them or something like that.
Yep. Or if you're up there and you see a wreck in 4, you're coming out of 2, they radio and say, go high, go low, there's a wreck coming out of 4, avoid it, stay out of trouble.
Yeah, you need to slow down and all that for sure.
But in a track that's going, what is it straightaway, 100 and what? How fast are they going?
Usually 15-second laps around there. So, and you're going like on the straightaways around 150 miles an hour. So, there's not a ton of time to slow down sometimes.
So you're going 150 on that track, turning 14, 15-second laps. And when you say trouble can happen like this, you could be cruising right along, everything be going good. It's that quick, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of races over the years where the leader will be out there and you're thinking, man, this guy's got this race pretty well in hand, and then somebody will wreck in front of him and, takes them out like lap 350, lap 400 or whatever, and just completely changes,
So in closing here, you've been to a lot of tracks in the series. Bristol's your favorite. Bristol's my favorite. But what makes it so unique? Why is it so appealing for the fans? Why is it so appealing for the drivers? Every driver wants to have, they say when it's said and done, one of the trophies they want in their trophy case is a Bristol Motor Speedway race champion. Why is that so important to these guys? Why is it so unique?
Well, Bristol and Darlington and Dover probably are considered 3 of your tracks where the driver maybe makes the most difference and all. Bristol's, to me, is the best track on the circuit, probably followed by Martinsville. But I like short tracks because you can see the whole track. It's not like if you go, say, Talladega, for example, if you're in most seats, Talladega, it's hard to see the action on the backstretch. You're basically watching, it on the big screen when the cars are on the backstretch or whatever, I mean, it's still a great experience, but, I think Bristol's definitely a lot better. Bristol's easier to get around, too, the stuff outside the race. If you want to go look at the souvenir trailers, if you want to, the concerts they have, just do a phenomenal job all the way around, with, like I said, not making it just a race, but a true event.
Yep, great fan experience. So, the world's fastest half mile. Great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway. So who do you think's going to win? You said Hamlin?
Yeah, I'm going Denny Hamlin as my pre-race favorite. Although the way his teams run lately too, it wouldn't be a bad choice, I guess, to pick Tyler Reddick, who I think I picked him maybe like as a championship contender earlier in the season, and he's won like 4 of the first 7 races or something like that.
So you're taking Denny Hamlin. Who's your dark horse?
Dark horse, I'm going to go, I mean, if you can call him a dark horse, I guess he's won at Bristol before, but I'm going to go with Chris Buescher in the 17
Chris Buescher.
car.
All right. I'm going to take Kyle Busch to win it. finally breakthrough win. He's got 8-time champion at the Speedway.
And 9 if you actually count the race on dirt. Yeah.
So you go. You got 9-time champion Bush. You're going to take him. And my backup guy or dark horse, I'm going to go with one of the old guard, either Logano or Keselowski. So one of those two. Let me think here. Let me look at the tea leaves. You want to help me out? You want me to help pick one?
Big Bucks reminds me of the old show at the Whammy on it, too.
I want to go with, I'm just feeling yellow, Joey Logano. It's his color, the Shell Pennzoil machine. So I'm going to go Kyle Busch and Joey Logano. One of those two guys win the race. You're taking Hamlin and Buscher.
Yeah.
All right. You hungry?
Yeah, definitely.
Get you some lunch. Great job on the tab, by the way. Got to pick that up, folks. It's a really good job. And it's primarily him, and he does an incredible, cool job writing all these stories. I don't see how he does it.
Well, and definitely pick up papers all week because we have a ton of Food City 500 stuff, not just racing stuff. We've got a couple of, I think, business stories that's going to be pretty interesting to follow as well.
Here you go. Quick break. We'll be right back after this in the Tom Daly Sports Show. We're live at Chick-fil-A on People Street in Johnson City. You're one of our great sponsors. Christmas Club savings account for next year. Tell me about it.
Yes, let's talk about it because now you're going to have 12 months to do this. What better time than right now to open your Christmas Club savings? There's no cost on this. This is just something that we can help you transfer automatic funds, either weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, out of your check. So that way you won't even have to worry about it. And each time that you have that transferred, either you can do it yourself or deposit into this account, or we can have automatic draft set up. That's just convenient for you. And like I said, it's just another sub account to your savings and checking at Northeast Community Credit Union. So if you have any questions, visit bemycu.org or come in and see us at one of our convenient locations or call 423-547-1200.
And you cut checks when? Next year? October, November? So when you get your checks?
Yes.
Save it up all year?
Yeah, so direct deposit could be your monthly paycheck.
Okay.
And so you can allocate a percentage of that paycheck into the Christmas Club. And that way when you get to October, November, it's going to be built up. And so it's a great feature, and people love it.
The Christmas Club savings account for Christmas 2024?
Yes.
From Northeast Community Credit Union, one of our great sponsors of the Tom Daly Sports Show and Cyclone Sports.
Behind every Food City meat and seafood counter is a highly trained, certified butcher. Our butchers offer special orders, custom cuts, and even entire meal recommendations. In fact, you'll be so impressed with our butchers, you'll be asking yourself, what can't they do?
Huh, I bet he'd be great at wrapping presents.
Okay, well, maybe not that. But at Food City, our butchers make almost everything better.
And back with the Tom Daly Sports Show. Let's wrap it up by giving you the verse today. We always dedicate our show to the man who hung on the cross today, certainly no exception. It is comforting to know that we can feel God's presence and guidance every moment. The verse is out of the book of Isaiah. Isaiah 58:11 says, "The Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and will strengthen your frame. You'll be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail." Isaiah 58:11. We need to remember God is ever present, not occasional or sporadic. We will never be put on hold or told to try back later. He is with us and for us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Absolutely. So when you pray to the Lord, it's not like, let me put you on hold, I'll get back to you. It doesn't work that way at all. He's there for you 24/7. He's never sporadic. He's never, as we said, put you on hold, try back later. He's ready to hear anything you want and need to pray to him about 24/7. And that's the God we serve. There you go. Good way to end it. Thanks again, obviously, Jeff Birchfield, also Mr. Baseball, Greg Salyer. And a big thank you to getting it started, Andrew Smith, sports writer from the Johnson City Press, Kingsport Times News. Back with you tomorrow will be at Duck Crossing Antique Store in Elizabethton. Then Friday we'll wrap up the week and kick off the weekend. Race weekend, of course, we said. We'll be at Food City and Gray on a Food City Friday. So reminding you again, a lot of cars coming to town, a lot of campers this weekend are starting to really come in now. because you got racing on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays will be coming in today and tomorrow big time, hot and heavy to come in and set up. So you see campers, they're bringing a lot of money with them, so be nice to them because they love coming to Bristol. We love for them to come. Helps our economy big time. Hotels, restaurants, you name it. Everything that you could be thinking that they would spend money at, they do. And so movie theaters with some downtime, and they're going to the malls, going here, going there. So, again, be nice to them. If you don't have a church home, we'd love for you to join us tonight at Pleasant Beach Baptist Church. We start at 7 o'clock. Kids have the Master Club program back in the Bobby Stout Family Heritage Center. So if you don't have a church home, we'd love for you to come be with us. We had a huge crowd for Easter Sunday. Got more. In fact, we had a family join on Sunday. So we've had a lot of that lately, and we're excited about that. So anyway, if you don't have a church home, please consider coming to Pleasant Beach Baptist Church on Watauga Road in Elizabeth. And out of time, we sincerely thank you for yours. Back at it tomorrow from Duck Crossing Antique Store in Elizabeth. Until then, we'll say, as always, bloom where you're planted, and win or lose, be a good sport. Thanks for watching show number 2475. $25 away from 2,500 shows. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Thanks for watching the show. So long from Chick-fil-A.